And
48?
then at that point, the guy she was with said he had to go to the bathroom and never returned, stiffing her with the tab, which on top of the oysters that she ate and the drinks that they had and everything wound up totaling $184.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot. And if this is to be believed, she also only tipped $11.
Ooh, that's not a very big tip for 184.
No, it's not. How many oysters is too many on a first date?
Oh, man. See, I think
where do you draw the line?
If I'm going on a date, like they said they're going out for drinks, right?
Yeah.
But I think if you go out for drinks, you can also get an appetizer.
Yeah.
You hear what I said? I said an appetizer.
Uh-huh.
I said one appetizer. You don't get 4 apps, number one.
Mm-hmm.
You get one app that you kind of just snack on throughout.
Uh-huh.
So if I'm saying you get one, that means at tops, most you're doing here are 6 oysters. And that even seems a bit aggressive.
If drinks was the specific text.
I think even if you're just going out for dinner, 6 oysters seems a bit aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I like oysters. And whenever I go down to Florida, my family indulges in oysters.
Uh-huh.
But I'm not eating more than 3 oysters. Even if with just my family there, let alone on a date. You know how you look eating an oyster?
It's not. I was looking at this video. I've never had an oyster. And
they don't look good. And you don't look good eating them either. You got to kind of slurp them out.
Uh-huh.
Depends on maybe you put on a cracker with the lemon. It tastes good.
Yeah, I can believe they taste good. It's just not a very visually appealing food at all.
They look like snot when you eat it.
Mm-hmm. And you have to there's a shell.
And it sounds like she loves them.
Who wants to put seashells in their mouth?
See, usually you would put it on a cracker.
Uh-huh.
And then put the lemon on there. But it sounds like if she ate 48 of them, I guarantee she's not putting 48 on a cracker.
No.
She's housing them straight from the shell.
Rapid firing right off of the shell.
But also to stick her with the bill.
That's pretty
by
rough
leaving.
Too. Well,
and then sending the text, I'll cash app you for the drinks.
Yeah.
Ooh. Not a good look.
So you draw the line though. Once she ordered this, once she's like, excuse me, waiter, garçon, another round of oysters, please. That's when you're calling a flag on the play right there.
If she ran the second one back, because I'm thinking they did 48 oysters, 15 apiece.
Uh-huh.
That's all that she ate, by the way. He ate no oysters. Is that what they're saying?
That is the accusation. Which, by the way, she's the one posting this. She's the one posting this.
That's a bad look on her. But that's $60 of oysters.
Uh-huh.
So then they spend $120 on drinks. That's crazy talk.
Yeah.
$120? I mean, this place, maybe there's oysters, maybe it's expensive. But goodness gracious. That being the bill for a date in general is crazy.
Yeah.
For a date that you're willing to walk out on. If you're willing to walk out on, that means that this must be a first or second date.
Yeah.
$120 for drinks, that's a crazy date.
Yeah. That's, that to say the least.
Second round of oysters, that's when you say, just so you know, if you want these oysters, this is no longer a we thing. These are just for you, which means that you're the one paying for those.
Nobody does it better. The Riot Radio U.
Here's a question I've seen floating around the last few days, and I can't figure out. It's not because of anything, but the question is, if there was a prescription drug you could take that would prevent your hair from ever turning gray, would you do it?
Am I taking it every day?
I don't know how frequent. Let's say yes. It's
I
an
don't
everyday
know that
thing.
I would.
The rest of your life, you have to take this pill, but your hair will never turn gray.
I don't know that I would, because I feel like my hair would look kind of odd on me as an aged man. If I was like 70 years old and I had this same hair, would it fit my face? I feel like I need that kind of touch of gray.
So you'd just be happy with hair turning gray eventually?
As long as I have it. If I could keep this same hair that I've got right now.
Yeah.
which is real thick.
It's more important to you to keep the hair.
I'd rather keep the hair.
Whatever color it may be,
Mm-hmm.
than to keep it the color of it.
I think so.
But it's not an either or. This is just would you take the prescription or not?
Is everybody taking it?
If everybody is, it makes it a little less special, doesn't it?
Yeah, but then at the same time, then you blend in. If I'm the only 70-year-old with dark black hair,
Yeah, that's
I look
right.
kind of. I look like I diet. Everyone's gonna assume
But
I diet.
If everybody else has the prescription and you don't, then you're the only person
With gray
gray
hair.
which is probably even worse.
True. I need everyone to do it, or else I look like I'm the guy that just. I look like I dye my hair, which isn't. There's nothing wrong with that.
No,
But that's not really
but
my
it's so
vibe.
natural. It would look so natural.
True. But nowadays you can't even tell. I can't
What
tell
about
who's
this?
dying, who's not.
Here's how I picture it: is that I would take it, but let's say like eventually, once you stop taking it, your hair will turn gray.
Okay,
So
so you
I
get to
just-
a point.
I just prolong, because like when does your hair normally turn gray for most people? If it turns gray, it's like 60 something, right?
I think it's before that, but
Before
I'm not
that,
sure.
50.
Maybe 50. Maybe 50 is the mark.
So maybe I just take it till I'm 65. And then, I mean, I don't know why. I don't know why I need dark hair at 60. I don't know what purpose
you
that will
trying to
serve.
impress,
Yeah,
all right?
yeah, that's right.
Your
I
grandchildren.
mean, my wife is older than me, but, but yeah, I don't know. I would be the best. I'd have the best hair of all the 60-year-olds. And then eventually 65, I don't want to look weird. And so maybe I stop taking it at that point.
What a wild flex
Yeah.
as a 65-year-old.
I got to have something.
You got to have something going for you. You know what? And if that's your thing, that's your thing. I think as well, I'd be scared to start taking it now
Uh-huh.
because things like that, you always get afraid. If there was if someone said this will make it to where your hair won't turn gray,
Uh-huh.
I would immediately think, well, it's gonna make me bald or something, some other side effect. I don't know.
Yeah, you don't.
It
If you wouldn't want to be
freaked
the
me
first
out.
person,
Yeah,
you let a
take
bunch of
it.
other people take it, and then their hair falls out or turns green or whatever, and then you take the next round that they've worked out all the kinks with.
You don't want to be the first one.
This is Radio U's Worst of the Riot.
The holiday season, it's drawing nigh, and that means that all of the different companies are trying to put out their brand new stuff for you in time for gift giving season, including Sony, where they've announced their new redesign of the PS5. It's got a slimmed down look versus the previous iteration, just in time for the holidays. Isaiah, your thoughts?
I'm a PlayStation guy.
Mm-hmm.
It says this one is 30% smaller, but they
Wish
also
I was 30% smaller.
I know, right? They also jacked up the price a bit.
Oof, of course they did.
How much is 30% smaller worth to you? This is the
Yeah.
real question because it's the same. Nothing else is new.
Uh-huh.
It's all just how the look, and it looks sleek. It looks good.
So how much is...
How much more are we talking?
Oh, I see it here.
50 more bucks.
50 more bucks for it to be 30% smaller.
And people like small things.
They do.
This is wild. I'm looking at them side by side. This is crazy.
Uh-huh.
The only thing that's different is the new one.
Uh-huh.
So it's got that kind of like a V look to it.
Yeah.
It's got a little V look to it.
It looks like a futuristic skyscraper.
Yes, it does. It's got a nice little V. And on the old one, considering the PS5 old, which
Yeah.
is brand spanking new, but it has where you would put in the disc on the right side of it.
Yeah.
So there's the V and then like a little outage, a little out
Uh-huh.
where you can slide that in there. It just essentially this one just took that off. So now it's just a full V.
So you can get it either or. With the disc thing or without.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's cool. If I didn't have a PS5, I guess I'd probably go with I don't have a PS5. If I was in the market, I'd go with this one over the previous version, because why would you not get the newest one, right? Or would I? Because then I could save some money by getting the older version, which functions the same and just is a little superficially pleasing.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been a gamer for a long time. One thing I've come to realize is it doesn't matter what the game system looks like. You're not like proudly displaying it. Everybody has one.
Yeah.
It's probably in like you keep it in a cabinet or something.
Like you have that like in your living room.
It's like behind
that your
the
flex?
TV. Yeah, right.
Like you bring a date back to your place and you're like, yeah, I don't know if you saw or not, but
Uh-huh.
the new PS5, that doing anything for you?
Yeah. And it's
Is that
I mean,
impressing you?
I know this is like 30% smaller, but it's not like it's going to save a bunch of shelf space or something.
No.
For what? Your books? What are you using that shelf space for?
An extra controller.
Yeah, of course.
Obviously.
Of course. I mean, you can't fault Sony for coming out, for improving it, but at the same time, I'm not going to get excited about it.
No, not me either. If I was going to get a PlayStation, which I want a PlayStation 5, sounds like a fun thing to have. I have a PS4 that I don't play anymore, really. If I had the PS5, it'd probably go to waste. It is, in the US, $500 if you want the one that you can actually put the disc into. If you want the all-digital edition, which is cool that they offer this,
Yeah.
it's $450 because majority of people now just buy the games.
Yeah, who needs the disc drive?
Yeah, you don't need the disc drive. You can just buy them digitally. So $450, but that still is a thick price there. For a 30% smaller, that's a thick price.
Yeah. Yeah. But, it's great for gift giving.
For Christmas.
Yep.
Oh, hi there.
This worst of the riot.
Crank that up.
Radio U.
Question is, everybody's got a friend or two or three that is single, and you know exactly why they're single, but they don't get it, and you don't have the heart to tell them. Why is your friend single? 877-2-RADIO-U. Got a good text in. I'll just leave the names out of it, but somebody texted in and said, because they're too right-winged. And then they texted in, wait, left-winged. I said, either way, they're too political. It's tough. It's tough because if you're leading with politics, that's going to off-put, I would say, some people would say 50, I think like 70% of the population, no matter which side you're on, because I think it's like 30-30-30, you know what I mean?
And even if they do agree with you, they could just be off-putting in general.
Yeah.
Even if they're on the same side as you, if you're too much about it, and that's not really their thing. But if that's their thing, that could be great. It could be a great fit for both of you.
Yeah, the difficulty is if you're way into politics, you don't want, probably not going to want somebody that's not way into politics. You guys have to agree. So it's a tough
Something you bring up later on. I wouldn't make that the first date.
No, that shouldn't be the crux of your dating profile.
How about this one? He really is not as nice of a person as he thinks he is. I like that one.
I think that's what people used to say about me.
That's what they still say. Or this one. The type of guy she claims she likes isn't what she's actually attracted to. She's attracted to the idea of a typical shy guy, but thinks once they're in a relationship, they'll suddenly be more open and turn into the guy she actually wants. That's not how it works.
Yeah, it's tough when you can't. The person you're looking for is not a person that's a real person.
Yeah, exactly. And not a realistic goal.
But that feels like something you could talk to them about, right?
Yeah, you could just say you're not into shy guys.
Yeah, that's different than saying you talk politics too much.
Yeah, or this next one, I can smell them. Everyone can smell them.
Yeah, that came to mind for me too.
That's tough.
Yeah.
That conversation is not for you to
you
have
gotta be
with your friend.
real close.
You got to be best friends to be cool something like that.
Since you were kids.
You smell bad? I wouldn't even tell you that. No, I would, because we're stuck in the small room together. I would tell you if you smell bad.
It would really bother you. That's good. That's good. I know I don't stink.
I like this one. It's not that he's short. He's just obsessed about how he's short. This is a good way. He tries to overcompensate with it too much. He's trying to do too much with it.
That it can be short. It can be any number of things. It's one thing if you have shortcoming, but if you are way too obsessed with your shortcoming and try to overcompensate,
when you don't have to.
Yeah, you don't have to. Just embrace who you are.
Yeah, they might like you for no matter what your difficulty is.
Yeah,
being short isn't even a difficulty. But I would say, if you're obsessed with it and that's all you talk about, then it's going to make it more of a big deal than it is.
Yeah, if you're leading with that too. One that came to mind for me, I know somebody. Actually, I know a few people like this, where the reason that the top reason they're single is because they are too shy. They are a shy guy, and they're too
reserved.
Yeah, it's just hard, even getting on apps and whatever, trying to go ahead and meet somebody that way when you're not comfortable taking the lead at all, it makes it difficult.
This one, he makes the same jokes about poop and farts all the time.
Oh.
Like constantly. Yes, some women like potty humor. Yes, some women like potty humor. Not very many, but they usually also want it to be funny. He's also very negative, finds himself wrong, finds something wrong in every situation. It's a tough friend. I don't know. I don't know what to say.
Why are you hanging out with him at all?
But, everybody has something,
Yeah.
And somebody will like him for it anyway.
A 6-year-old.
It just takes a long time
Maybe.
to find that
Probably
person
be really
sometimes.
good with kids.
Oh, great with kids.
Yeah.
Radio U's Worst of the Riot podcast.
What do you think about this, Isaiah? We're both around this age, right? Where some of the people you've been friends with for a while have kids and some don't. There's a debate going on about how realistic it really is for people that have kids to maintain friendships with people who don't have kids. Do you think it's possible?
I think it's possible. I have friends who have kids.
Uh-huh.
I have friends that have multiple kids that are my friends. We don't hang out every weekend like we used to
Mm-hmm.
because they have children
Yeah, more infrequent.
that I refuse to hang out with. No, I'm joking. I hang out with the kiddos. They're all real cute. But they just aren't as available as they once were, where I'm a little bit more free because I have no kids. But then you can still be friends. It's just a different friendship. It's a different style of friendship than it was before.
Yeah. I mean, it's clearly it's possible because people do it. I'm seeing this argument going on. Apparently it started in the New Yorker magazine, one of my favorites, where this journalist says it becomes us versus them. On one side, people with kids, frazzled, distracted, boring, rigid, covered in spit up. Wow, this is a lot. Can't talk about movies. Only about how they wish they had time to see them. And on the other, people without kids, self-absorbed, entitled, grumpy about life's inconveniences, even though their life is easy. This sounds like somebody with kids is just annoyed.
I think it's giving it to both sides pretty fairly, honestly.
Yeah.
This is a pretty fair evaluation both ways.
I think both of these descriptions can be true. In my experience, I think the people with kids that wind up losing touch with people without kids or not getting along, I think they deep down didn't really want to be friends with them anyways.
It's because it's an easy excuse.
Yeah.
It's the easiest excuse.
It is. That's exactly right. Oh, sorry, we can't hang out after 8. I got to go put Jill to sleep. Like that kind of thing. I got to go relieve the babysitter. We can't hang out tonight. But I just don't. I know it's an easy excuse. I think though, if you really want to maintain a friendship, like as a parent with people without kids, you can do it. I think the thing is, I think once you have kids, it's kind of on you though.
I think it's on both sides though, because if I invite my friends who have kids to do certain things that I know they'll never be able to come to. Like there's certain things that I know if I ask them, if I try to plan things with my friends who have kids, if I ask them the day of, like I would with my friends that don't have kids, they're never coming. They're never coming.
Last minute is one thing, but
if I ask them to travel across the whole city, they're not coming.
But see, this is the thing. I think for a while you would still ask them. You'd ask the parents, the dads. You'd ask them to still hang out with you. But once they say no enough times, you stop asking. And I think that's what it comes down to. If you are a parent and you still have a bunch of friends, you have friends you still want to hang out with that don't have kids, you've got to say yes every once in a while.
And if you're someone who doesn't have kids, you have to invite them to things that are realistic, and you're the one who has nothing going on. So if you're the one trying to make the plans,
gotta be the organizer.
You can do anything. You can make it. You can plan them closer to their house. You have to learn to give them a little bit more heads up, which I have learned because I love to plan things last minute, and that does not work out when my friends have kids.
Yeah,
they don't come. They just don't come.
Kids make life a lot less spontaneous, it seems.
Add a little riot to your Instagram feed. Follow @RadioU Official. The Riot. Radio U.
I've got a woman here who spent $5,000 to go down to Mexico and marry herself. That actually feels pretty affordable. That's a pretty cheap wedding in Mexico. To go down to Mexico and get married, $5,000, not bad.
Well, she was the only one there, so that makes sense.
I guess so. That was the whole question I had, because I've seen stories about other people marrying themselves. Whatever. You want attention, fine. But but what would you do if you were invited to somebody's wedding and they were marrying themselves? Would you support them? One of your friends?
This is a tough question. Because in my mind, one of my friends would never do this.
Yeah.
Because I would just tell them, this sounds like such a waste of money. Why are you throwing away $5,000? To proclaim your love for yourself. It's a bit narcissistic, if you ask me. I would say going down to Mexico, if I'm paying for it, not in the cards.
Yeah. I barely want to go to weddings that are two people.
Like, you're just inviting me on a vacation for you.
Yeah.
Like, would I go on vacation? It depends. If I would go on vacation with this friend regularly, maybe I would go. Because that's what it sounds like. It sounds like a vacation to Mexico where you also are having a ceremony one of the days.
Yeah. Not exactly how I'd want to spend one of the days in Mexico, but sure. The tough thing is, though, right? If this is one of your friends, clearly they're in a vulnerable position. They need some support. Is just going along with their little wedding charade, is that the support they need?
Are you being a good friend by doing that?
Yeah.
By hyping them up?
Right. But what if you say no? And then can you imagine something worse? You're marrying yourself and nobody shows up? If you weren't down bad enough already, that could really do
But that
something.
would be the perfect, like, I don't need nobody thing,
Yeah,
you know?
I guess so. It's you against the world at that point.
I don't need it. I don't need a significant other. I don't need friends. It's just me, myself, and I. Love for myself. What's up? For me, I'm
it's just
skipping this wedding.
reinforcing it. Yeah.
This is wild. I cannot endorse this kind of financially unstable relationship.
Yeah.
This is wild.
The other thing that's crazy too
it's
is this.
throwing away $5,000, which is crazy. But, you know, if she feels special,
If you've
that's
got
good.
it to burn. If you're single, you might have them.
Well,
Single,
you know.
no kids, you might have the $5,000 to burn. What's crazy is this story too. This is a woman, and it also lists out a bunch of other notable people who have married themselves, including Selena Gomez.
When did she do that?
Last summer.
See, Selena, this is exactly why you can't be doing things like this.
Yeah, but
Encouraging others to do craziness.
I'm looking down this list, and it's all ladies. Not a single guy has married themselves.
If a guy did this, it'd be odd.
Nobody would support
Nobody
that.
would go.
That's the difference. If it's a
Nobody
girl,
would
it's like,
go.
well, you're empowering yourself. If it's a guy, it's like you're a lunatic.
Nobody would go.
No, yeah.